Hola chicos! Okay, so since my days have become more or less the same, although that won't necessarily be a thing for very long, I decided to start vlogging by what I'm going to talk about, just because my videos were getting kind of long and I know that takes a long time to watch, and after like 5 minutes you're like, okay, I don't really want to watch Sarah's face anymore. So I'm going to break it down into smaller chunks. So I'll start with talking about what I did last night. Last night I went to Mundo Lingo, and basically I went to this bar, and what you do is you go up to like the front, it was like a table, and you get flags with your country. And so I got, your first flag is like the language you speak the best, and then you keep getting flags for like however many languages you speak or wherever you're from. So of course I got the American flag, and since I speak English, that was my first one. And then I got the Argentine flag, and I put that underneath. And some people had like way more flags all down, or like you can put them across if like you can speak all the languages equally well, I guess. And so it's actually, it's a place to go and like work on your language skills basically. And so at first I went with my roommate, and we're really similar, and we're both super outgoing, and we're standing there and we're like, okay, why is it so hard for us to go and approach people? But it's just kind of awkward because people are in the middle of conversations, and you have to like awkwardly look for their flag, and you're like, what do I say? What do I talk about? Like, hola, or like, yeah. So we were kind of like, what are we supposed to do? And we're supposed to be meeting friends there, and they ended up never showing up, but that was okay. It was miscommunication. But eventually we found some other American girls, which was an easy cop out. But no worries, we sat down on a table and we're like, oh my gosh, it's your first time here, me too, like how awkward is this, blah blah blah. They all like had time to process their drinks. I was like, I'm not gonna drink, but whatever you need to do. And so then after they'd finished their drinks, they're like, okay, like let's do this. So we were standing there and we were still trying to figure out like how to approach people or what to do, especially if they're already in the middle of a conversation. You're like, okay, I don't want to interrupt, but like I also don't want to just stand here and talk to you guys, because that defeats the purpose. And so eventually people started approaching us. So one guy approached us and we started talking to him, and they all want to like talk English, but we're like, okay, we want to speak Spanish. And so and we're in a bar, so it's hard to like have conversations with groups of people, especially if you're trying to speak in another language. And so we were all kind of just like standing around listening, and then like more people started approaching us, so we ended off breaking off into separate conversations, which is actually really cool. And I started talking to this one guy, and he's from Brazil. We actually started talking about like Obama and like politics, and then we started talking about like race and like social construction of like race and ethnicity, which was like I was all up, that was right up my alley. But I didn't necessarily agree with what he was saying, so we kind of got into an argument about that. And I also met this other girl named Lucia, and she's from Brazil, but she's lived in Argentina for 2 years, and she was cracking me up. I absolutely adore her. She invited me to her birthday party next week, so that's exciting. But it was kind of cool. It was just a way to meet new people. Our advisors recommend it because they're all about like getting us out and meeting people and getting us to like make actual Argentine friends. And so they're like, yeah, like this is a really great way to meet like actual Argentine friends. I'm like, okay. So I got someone's number, so that's cool. And hopefully I can go to her birthday next week and meet some more people. Definitely plan on doing it again, and it was a fun experience. It's kind of cool. It was also mind-boggling because all these people know English, and I guess like the majority of people here speak English, which you wouldn't know because they all like look at me like I am not speaking any language they know, whether I speak in English or Spanish. But they were all like, yeah, like I taught myself, and you really have to know English to survive here. Like we watch movies in English, we read books in English, like all this stuff is in English. And like all these other countries, like they just learn English and they just teach themselves. And here we are in America, and we barely like it when people from other countries come and speak other languages in our country, let alone us actually learning or teaching ourselves a language. Like